Testing, 1, 2. 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 Testing. 1, 2. Testing. 1, 2. Testing. 1, 2. Testing.
You're listening to Harmonize Your Retirement with Ted Thatcher. If you have questions regarding your retirement savings during the COVID-19 pandemic and these times of high volatility in the market, you can still reach Ted Thatcher by calling 800-242-9196. That's 800-242-9196.
Your latest KCMD weather is sponsored by Siskiyou Pump Service. Siskiyou Pump repairs, inspects, and troubleshoots all brands of pumps and filtration systems. Visit SiskiyouPump.com. A beautiful Sunday in the Rogue Valley with pleasant conditions continuing, just a little bit warmer than yesterday. Lots of sunshine and a high of 75. For tonight, clear and 45. Tomorrow, keeping that nice pattern going with sunshine and 75. Slight chance of rain late on Monday night. We'll see a little more rain late in the week.
No matter where you go,
Everything's twisted.
has got an opinion.
And I'll support your right to have it.
The Biden tell a lie, she tell a lie, they complement each other's lies.
From local, statewide, and the most contentious presidential election in history.
Joe Jordan saying it's far more presidential than either of these two jokers.
Hear about it?
They're coming up with anything they can
Talk about it.
to still keep us in fear.
KMED and 99.3 KCMD.
Fox News, I'm Terrence McHugh. President Trump campaigning in 5 key battleground states today. He warned a crowd in Michigan this morning what will happen if Joe Biden wins.
Joe Biden will shut down your economy, raise taxes. What's a $4 trillion tax increase? He's the only politician I've ever seen who said, we will raise your taxes.
The president will fly on to Iowa, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida before the day is out. Joe Biden rallied in Michigan Saturday, where this Democratic congresswoman says the former Veep can count on black voters.
One of the important groups that's going to very strongly support, and I know is supporting Joe Biden, is the urban Black American vote. A lot of those people still have to get out and vote, so we need to energize them.
Debbie Dingell on Fox. America is listening to Fox News.
with inflation or taxes or a income plan for whether you or your wife or husband were to live to outlive one another. And with as many questions as there are in this phase, to be working with somebody who specializes in something entirely different from that, it's very likely that something might get overlooked, and that could cost you big time when it comes to your retirement plan. And so whether you just need a second set of eyes to look over the retirement plan you have, or maybe that's you and you've been working with the same person for 20, 25 years, and they really specialized in growth, and you're saying, hey, you know what? I'm now moving into a different phase. We might need to make a change. We would love to help you do that. Our number here is 800-242-9196. Again, that's 800-242-9196. Retirement and moving into it is a huge step. And, there are changes that should be made, but those changes shouldn't be made lightly, and they shouldn't be made rashly. And so we want to make sure that you understand why we would make any potential changes. We want to make sure that you understand the financial plan that we've laid out to account for all the things David mentioned. An income plan, a legacy plan, a tax plan, a plan for recovering inflation costs, a plan that sets your assets and estate up for success, for longevity, and then of course to be passed on as well. So again, our number here is 800-242-9196. We would love to get to know you and your family and what your goals truly are for your retirement.
This is Harmonize Your Retirement with Ted Thatcher. I'm David Thompson. Again, we are closing out our discussion in terms of addressing the healthcare costs in retirement. Ted, you mentioned the different types of financial planners that are in our area, and I think the thing that differentiates you the most is the fact that you are independent. And when I think about the advantage of being an independent financial advisor is that when you go grocery shopping, you don't go grocery shopping at a gas station where they have limited supplies of groceries that are high priced. You actually go to a supermarket in your area or many supermarkets where you have aisles and aisles of foods and choices and
different brands,
all at a different cost. And that's where you're able to shop for the best product at the best price, correct?
Absolutely. So and you mentioned independence, and I'll talk a little bit about that, but I like to put out just a good rule of thumb when it comes to working with a financial professional. I really believe three things should be true of whoever you work with, and whether you decide to give us a call here today or not, I really believe three things should be true of whoever you work with. And firstly, the thing on my list that I recommend is that you should be working with somebody who is a fiduciary. Somebody who always has to operate in your best interest at all times. Mm-hmm. Second to that, I really believe that you should work with somebody who's independent. You should not be only being shown one company's financial funds. That's not going to end up being in your best interest. The highest probability of success across your retirement. And thirdly, I really believe that who you work with local, because we work with retirees again every single day, and if there's one thing that something unexpected will come up in your retirement, and you need to be able to call somebody that you have their direct line and go and get things handled on short notice, and it's unbelievably difficult to do that if they're very far away. So if you have somebody you work with that you maybe you really like them, but they're far away, I would tell you it's an important consideration to make to find somebody local that you can work with, because I've seen it cost people literally over $100,000 simply not having somebody that they could access on short notice that was local. To dive in a little bit again on the independent side of things, it's really important that you are being shown and have all of the investment options available to you. And if you're working with somebody who is not independent and they are captive to a specific, let's say, big box investment firm, you're not going to have the spectrum of options that you should, to be perfectly honest with you. And so if you are looking for somebody who does check those three boxes off, please give us a call. We would love to sit down with you and just walk you through how we work. Our number here is 800-242-9196. And when you call in, It's not something where I drag you into my office and shut the door behind you. And, it's not like a timeshare meeting where they're having you like bottle lapels and saying, this is how we're going to invest your money or anything like that. No, when you come in, we just want to get to know you. You'll see Stephanie at the front desk, and she'll, see if you would like a snack or a water. We'll come in, and really, the first appointment is really just a chance for you to get to know me and for me to get to know you guys a little bit. Not a sales environment where I'm trying to get you to make any decisions. I want to see if you're a good fit for us, and I want you to see if we would be a good fit for you. And so again, our number here is 800-242-9196. That's 800-242-9196. On behalf of my team and myself and David, I just want to thank you for your listenership and joining us here today. We'll be back with you next week. You have been listening to Harmonize Your Retirement with Ted Thatcher. Thank you very much for being here with us.
Life insurance policies are contracts between the client and insurance company. Living benefits are available in the form of accelerated death benefits. These benefits are not a replacement for long-term care insurance. Living benefits and long-term care riders are not available on all Index Universal Life products and may not be available in all states. Addition of an accelerated death benefit or long-term care rider may require an additional fee. Accelerated death benefits and long-term care riders are subject to eligibility requirements. Insurance products are sold based on the suitability standard at both the state and insurance carrier level. This means the product recommendations must meet the stated financial needs and objectives of the client. Investment advisory services are required to be provided in accordance with the fiduciary standard. This means that the advice must be in the best interest of the client, with any conflicts of interest fully disclosed to the client. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and Pine Brook Financial are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This radio show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Pine Brook Financial is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein, provided by third parties, have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Pine Brook Financial. This radio show is a paid placement.
After all we Oregonians have gone through in 2020, the last thing we need is to have inexperienced or unsure representation in the upcoming legislative session. More than ever, we need someone who believes in rural Oregon, and Representative Dwayne Stark has proven himself over and over. Believe me, Salem is not for the faint of heart. Dwayne has served faithfully, battling for Southern Oregon over the past 6 years. We've painfully witnessed Portland values at work, not only on the streets of Portland, but in the Oregon House. Yes, there are many in the Oregon House who promote those Portland values. It's not pretty, but Representative Dwayne Stark is ready to go back on our behalf to represent your Southern Oregon values. Dwayne is happy to be endorsed by you, the citizens, and he also enjoys the approval of the police chiefs, sheriffs of Oregon, Oregon Right to Life, small business, and the Oregon Firearms Federation. Learn more about Dwayne in your voter's pamphlet. Re-elect Dwayne Stark, State Representative District 4. Paid for by Friends of
By Coastal Media's News and Talk, 99.3 KCMD, Grants Pass, and KMED, Medford.
KMED News Time is 11 o'clock.
10 rallies in 2 days. I'm Joe Gio, Fox News. That's President Trump's schedule as he packs in campaign stops in these final days before the election. 5 of those stops are today, which began with a rally in Washington, Michigan, where light snow fell and he took jabs at Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, spent 47 years outsourcing your jobs, opening your borders, and sacrificing American blood and treasure in endless foreign wars. Michigan lost half of its auto job thanks to Biden's NAFTA and China disasters.
President Trump Trump takes a stage in Dubuque, Iowa, next, before stops today in North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden focuses on the swing state of Pennsylvania today, with 2 stops, both in Philadelphia.
His only stop here in Philly today and tomorrow. Joe, Jill, Kamala, and her husband Doug all will, quote, barnstorm the 4 corners of Pennsylvania, according to their announcement. In 2016, President Trump stunned the political world, flipping this state red with a mere 44,000 votes, or less than 1%. The latest Real Clear Politics average, Biden leads by 4 points.
Fox's Griff Jenkins. Biden's first rally begins in about an hour. Meanwhile, Pennsylvania's Secretary of State Kathy Boockvar is predicting some problems in her state on Election Day.
We definitely will see issues arise on Election Day. There could be voter intimidation. There will definitely be long lines. There could be problems with ballots or machines. And that's not to discount the seriousness of any of that. But I don't think any of it will go to the kind of fundamental integrity of the election result. I think Americans so far can feel really confident about how the election is going.
Boockvar telling NBC's Meet the Press those issues could lead to the delay of announcing the winner of the presidential election. America is listening to Fox News.
Are you staying home and cooking for the family this holiday season? Have fun doing it with a Traeger pellet grill from Diamond Home Improvement. Traegers can handle everything from appetizers through desserts, thanks to their 6-in-1 versatility. Grill, smoke, bake, roast, braise, and barbecue everything to wood-fired perfection. All you have to do is put the food on and let the grill do all the work. Be sure to also check out Diamond's full line of Traeger brand pellets, rubs, sauces, apparel, and accessories. Perfect holiday grilling is right at Diamond.
At Batteries Plus, we power family road trips. We power bedtime stories. We power our local hospitals. We power connections with friends. We do more than replace batteries and fix phones and tablets. We help our neighbors power their lives. How powerful is that? Visit Batteries Plus in-store, curbside, and online for fast and reliable phone repair. Learn more at batteriesplus.com.
Douglas County.
Jury selection begins Monday in the trial of a man accused of masterminding a 2017 bombing of a suburban Minneapolis mosque. 49-year-old Michael Hari faces multiple charges for civil rights and hate crimes. No one was hurt, but the attack damaged the mosque. UK Cabinet Minister Michael Gove says a new national lockdown for England may be extended beyond 4 weeks if COVID-19 infection rates don't fall quickly enough.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced a new month-long lockdown for England after being warned that hospitals will be overwhelmed with the recent spike in cases.
Unless we act, we could see deaths in this country running at several thousand a day.
If Parliament approves, the new shutdown will start Thursday and last until December 2nd. Under the new restrictions, bars and restaurants can only offer takeout, non-essential shops must close, and people will only be able to leave home for a short list of reasons, including exercise. Activities ranging from haircuts to holiday travel must once again be put on hold. Mary Corsetti, Fox News.
Amid the pandemic, will taking a flight during the upcoming holidays be a good idea? A new survey says safety is a big part of the decision.
The YouGov survey for The Points Guy found that airline safety and flexibility beat cost when it comes to holiday travel this year. Melanie Lieberman is with The Points Guy and says while the majority of travelers will stick to driving, some plan to fly, with COVID-19 safety top of mind.
Strict mask compliance was a top priority. Travelers were concerned about having that extra space, having that empty middle seat.
She says 38% say it will be their first trip since the pandemic began.
This is not the air from holidays past. Everything's going to look and feel really different.
The survey found that we're more than twice as likely to drive than fly to our holiday destination. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
And I'm Joe Giero, Fox News.
Changing weather norms means changes to water quality. Be sure your drinking water is safe. The highs and lows of water levels, increasing cases of contamination, and land use changes can all impact your water quality. The only way to know if your water is safe is to have it tested. Call on Grants Pass Water Lab for fast service, help understanding your results, and affordable pricing. You'll find them online at gpwaterlab.com. Independent and serving the Rogue Valley for 40 years.
KCMD Weather, sponsored by Cascade Nursery. 40 years of expertise in quality plants, shrubs, and trees for your garden and landscape. off exit 35 at Central Point, and CascadePlantNursery.com. A beautiful Sunday in the Rogue Valley with pleasant conditions continuing, just a little bit warmer than yesterday. Lots of sunshine and a high of 75. For tonight, clear and 45. Tomorrow, keeping that nice pattern going with sunshine and 75. Slight chance of rain late on Monday night. We'll see a little more rain late in the week.
The 2020 Marathon.
We will finish what we started.
Now a sprint to election night.
But only one person is going to win.
When they cross the finish line,
We have all night long, right?
that's anybody's guess.
Pandemic challenges and ballots take longer to count.
Count on us to cover every step.
We win this election, and I will be your champion.
The night of, the morning after, and the days to follow. Run with your election headquarters.
And there's no place better.
KMED and KCMD.
Alrighty, it's time again. Yeah, it's gun talk. We're going to be talking about guns and politics, of course. New guns, old guns, trying to find guns, trying to find ammo. Holy cow. I did scream. I was able to find something, not a lot, but just finding anything right now feels pretty good. By the way, I'm Tom Gresham. I'm the host. It's called Gun Talk. You want to check us out. GunTalk.com is probably the easiest way. Over on Twitter, I am at Gun Talk. And of course, we've got the Gun Talk Facebook page, as well as our YouTube channels and Roku, Amazon Fire, etc., etc. Anywhere you can find videos, streaming videos, just look for the Gun Talk app there, and it will get you going. We're going to be open lines for a good bit of the show today. I just thought we're going to talk about the things you want to talk about, whether it's guns you have, thinking about buying something, thinking about selling something, what are you hunting with, how you store your guns, or frankly, what people are talking about most right now is looking at this election 2 days away. What's going to happen? Will there be more riots? Well, if you live in a Republican-led city, probably not. They seem to all have been in cities run by Democrats. I don't think that is a coincidence at all. Of course, if you disagree, you're free. Dive in. I'll give you the floor. If you don't like guns, fine. You don't have to like guns. If you think gun owners should not be voting for President Trump, that I would really like to hear. I would like the explanation for that. How someone who is pro-gun rights comes to the decision to vote for Joe Biden. That would be, as they say, a puzzlement. That would be interesting. And certainly, you'll go right to the head of the line. 866-TALK-GUN is the number here. Okay, listen up. We have our giveaways, of course. We do these pretty much monthly, big old prize packages. We just ended the one for October. I have the names here. Here's the deal. Pay attention now. Check your inbox, your email inbox. Check your spam folder. Because if I read at least for the winner, but the deal is winners have only 5 spots. So grand prize winner was Raymond. First prizes go to Albert A., Corey W., Roger P., Margaret L. Way to go, Margaret. So it's Raymond A., Albert A. Yeah, we're not giving out people's full names here. Corey W., Roger P., and Margaret L. If I read your name, be sure to go check the inboxes, spam folders, anything else you can find. See if it's in there, because you have 5 days to respond to that. Looking at the election here, you're thinking about possible unrest. I guess you saw the story. It was kind of interesting. Walmart, the national retail chain, sent an order out to all of its stores this week, telling them to pull all guns and ammunition. About half the Walmart stores have guns and ammo. Pull all the guns and all the ammunition off the floor. keep it in a secure area in the back, out of sight. People could still buy guns and ammo, assuming they had ammo, but they weren't going to leave it out. Why? Well, because of riots and civil unrest. And people might break into their stores and steal guns and ammo as if they don't have them already. Because if you're a looter, you're a felon. Well, yeah, that's right. Looting is a felony. Rioting, breaking in, burning buildings, all those are felonies. But what was interesting was, and I actually do not know what happened. The next day, the order came down from on high at Walmart. Oops. Take all that ammo and all those guns that you put in the back and put them back out on the floor. Put them back out there where people are, where people can see them. I don't know who got to them. I don't know if, some knucklehead at Walmart said this might be a good idea to do. And then somebody above him said, hey, you're a knucklehead. Weird, just weird stuff, huh? Isn't that weird? I mean, good for Walmart for making that decision to undo the stupid, idea. But there you go. Hey, let's go talk to Jim. He's on line 3 out of Nebraska. Hey, Jim, you're on Gun Talk. What's cooking?
Yeah, good morning. Good afternoon. You gave me an opening by saying talk about the election, so I'm going to call.
Sure.
This week, the Supreme Court ruled against Donald Trump on allowing Pennsylvania to have 2 more days to count mail-in ballots. Do you know what the breakdown was on the vote? Was it 5-4 or what?
I have to admit, I don't know, because I have been literally in a wilderness area all week. Came out yesterday afternoon late. No water, no electricity, cell phone service. It was great. I didn't hear a bit of news for an entire week. So I don't know.
Like to hear if somebody knows.
I don't know, but I bet you we could probably find that. Just we can look that up on that day. So they're going to have 2 extra days to count ballots in Pennsylvania, is what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so
mail-in ballots.
Right, and so that in Pennsylvania could end up being the linchpin for the whole thing.
Yes.
So we may all just be sitting here twiddling our thumbs and listening to the talking heads blather on for an extra 2 days or even longer, because of course if it takes them that long to count, then we could get a recount, then we could get another thing. Honestly, I will, here's the deal. Unless it's an overwhelming win by Trump, because I don't think it's going to be an overwhelming win by Biden, despite what the polls are saying, I think we could go a week or more before we actually know.
Yeah, I'm afraid of that. Could I have one more comment?
Oh, sure.
Here, I don't know, a month ago, I was telling you that I was interested in buying a Dan Wesson pistol pack.
Okay.
I purchased a Dan Wesson pistol pack.
Mm-hmm.
It fit and finish is really nice. It's with certain bullets, I shoot cast bullets. With certain cast bullets, designed cast bullets with a gas check on it, it's very accurate. With a plain base cast bullet at 200 meters on the 200 meter ram, no, we're not good. But I will shoot cast bullets with gas checks and be very happy with it.
That's great. And the thing is, and since you're loading lead bullets and you understand what gas checks do, you get less leading, less fouling with that, so that's going to be helpful as well. And you make a great point. It's all about figuring out what your particular gun will shoot well. You have to experiment with it. Jim, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Let's jump down and grab Mike before we hit our break here on line 2 out of Colorado. Hey, Mike, you're up.
Hey, what's going on? Anyway, I just was going to make a comment on our Walmart deal here. I live up there in southwest Colorado. About 4 days ago, they completely took everything out of sporting goods that had to do with guns.
Mm-hmm.
And today they took the ammunition back out, but they said they weren't going to put any guns back out till after the election was over.
Interesting. in Cortez?
Yeah.
Not exactly an area where I expect to have riots and civil disobedience.
Yeah, I don't really think we'd have too much. We've got some little protests that go on here every Saturday morning for the last month or so, but it hasn't been anything serious or nothing, people just walking down holding up signs, say Black Lives Matter,
People have to have something to do on Saturday mornings, Now the story I saw said that Walmart was putting the ammo and the guns back on, but what you're saying is your local store, they're putting the ammo back on. Of course, they don't have a lot of ammo anyway, but they're not going to put the guns out. And they're doing this supposedly so they can prevent people from breaking in and stealing the guns. Okay. It's stupid, but, in the greater scheme of things, it probably doesn't matter a whole lot. This will all be over in 2 to 3 or 4 days or weeks or months. Who knows? Hey, Mike, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Hey, we're going to take a quick break here. If you'd like to join us, the number is 866-TALK-GUN. And we really are open lines. You want to talk about the election? Then let's go. If you are a gun owner who's going to vote for Joe Biden, I'll give you the floor. Let you have your say. I'll ask you why. But hey, you can explain it to me because I clearly don't understand it. 866-TALK-GUN.
In 2020, Brownells continues its tribute to Eugene Stoner, the legendary designer of the AR-15, AR-180, and more. The What Would Stoner Do 2020 rifle answers the question of what Stoner would have done with modern lightweight materials. Inspired by another Stoner design, Brownells BRN-180 lower receivers help complete firearms optimized for folding stocks or pistol braces. Visit Brownells.com today and pay tribute to one of America's greatest firearm engineers.
Today, America is in crisis. We're called to protect our families and communities. But anti-gun politicians are working to strip those protections from us. They're shutting down our right to self-defense, violating our rights. At the same time, they're releasing prisoners onto our streets, leaving us defenseless. We are America, and we won't let them use this crisis to strip away our rights. Register to vote at www.gunvote.org.
Introducing the all-new St. Victor from Springfield Armory. Our versatile line of battle-ready configurations designed for serious shooters and built on the rock-solid St. platform for unwavering reliability. Available in carbine-length rifle, SBR, and pistol configurations, each St. Victor is purpose-built and loaded with features to deliver ultimate performance under extreme conditions. The all-new St. Victor from Springfield Armory. Never a victim, always the victor.
All right, back with the time question. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. I mentioned I just got back last night, yesterday evening, from hunting deer in the wilderness area. And as they say in the movies, no deer were harmed in the filming of this hunt. Did not get a deer, but I sure had a great time. We were out there camping in the middle of nowhere. Saw quite a few deer, saw all does. I did not see a buck, although I will say, my friend Brad and I spent about 30 minutes yesterday morning trying really, really hard to grow some antlers on a deer. Because when it would turn one way, we thought we could see it. When it turned the other way, we couldn't see it. He was about 260, 280 yards away. Using 10-pound binoculars. We're hunting in Idaho. And so we slipped up closer, which really wasn't that difficult. Got to about 200 yards, and we're just staring and thinking, do you see it? It's like, if we see them, they're going to be itty bitty. It's like this is be venison field or something. And I said, nobody wants to shoot little guys that small. But no matter what we did, we couldn't make him grow antlers. We tried, we pushed it hard. Boy, it was a great time. I was carrying that Ruger number 1, the Jody Clayton kind of memorial, or not memorial. It's a 280 actually improved. Kind of decided, I think next year I'm going to go with a lighter weight rifle. The number ones are wonderful, but they are a bit heavy, and those hills are getting pretty darn steep these days. And so I'm probably going to go with a considerably lighter one. And as of right now, subject to change, I'm thinking maybe a 6.5 Creedmoor. You know, shoots far enough for me. Not a lot of recoil. You can build a lightweight rifle around it. But that's my thinking right now. I don't know. If you have suggestions or thoughts, I'm open to that. Also, I don't know if I'll do it, but I'm certainly considering going with a suppressor. Don't know yet on that one. But folks over at Silencer Central have some great deals on some titanium suppressors that are not that heavy. 866 Talk Gun is the number. Line 3, Joseph's in Reno, Nevada. Hey, Joseph, thank you for your patience. What's on your mind, sir?
Hi, Tom. What I was calling about was that the gentleman called in about the Supreme Court decision. What it was is they had extended the counting for 3 days in Pennsylvania, and the lower court had affirmed that, and the Supreme Court, with our good buddy Roberts, who sided with the liberals, it was a 4-4 decision, so it reverted to the lower court. So they did extend the counting for 3 days.
Okay. All right. Well, that helps, because we were wondering what the vote was, and I didn't know. Thank you, sir. So, are you following this election pretty closely? What's going on?
Yes, I am.
What is your sense of it right now? I mean, we got the media, other than Fox, the media's telling us it's a done deal, it's a Biden runaway, you know, the polls are doing that, and I just don't know to what extent that's...
Well, you know what people need to do is they need to remember that in 2016, the polls were doing the same thing, and what they were, those were push polls. Yes. And that's all they're doing now is push polling. I mean, they don't sample properly. What they're doing is just putting out propaganda. And there are some polls that are relative. There's, I think, like one poll, I can't think of the name of it, like Triple E or something like that, that's fairly accurate. That's, and it's not saying what they're saying at all. So, I think was the only one that came close in the 2016 poll, but what they're doing is they're just push polling. And they're just trying to push people into either not voting or to vote for Biden or not to vote for Trump or whatever, you know, so.
I think you're right, and the push poll idea is, if we can get people convinced that it just doesn't matter, it's already over, then they won't go to vote, and they're basically trying to discourage Trump voters. You don't even need to bother. This thing's over. Why even worry about it? And, you know, it is actually a form of voter suppression.
Yeah, it is. It's just, well, it's propaganda. It's the same thing that that's all the media is anymore. It's just a propaganda machine. I mean, the only thing that I ever watch is One American News, and other than that, I pay no attention to it because, I mean, all they do is lie. I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is, you know?
Well, to prove your point, all you have to do is look at it and say, look, the entire news media, with the exception of Fox News and One American News, all the rest of the news media has decided to completely squash all the stories about Joe Biden. Forget Hunter Biden. Don't care about him. Joe Biden selling influence. If you would give me $10 million, I could make sure that you get a deal with the U.S. government. He has been selling his position. He has been selling influence for decades. You can't buy that many houses, those luxury houses on his salary, and nobody's explained where the money comes from, and now we know it's clear. It's in emails, it's in voicemails, it's in first-person reports from a Navy veteran who watched it and heard it and was part of it, and yet the media simply says it doesn't exist. It's not even a story. It's not even worth reporting and saying, wow, they're not even saying, here's a story, isn't that ridiculous? They're just not even mentioning it.
I know. Well, it would be, if it were Trump, I mean, it would be all over the place in spades. I mean, it's just, you know, well, they're just, you know, they're behind, they're part of the Communist Party. That's just the way it is.
It is. Well, I appreciate the info on the Supreme Court, sir. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Let's see here. Victor's on line 1 out of Lubbock, Texas. Hey, Victor, you made it on to Gun Talk. How can we help you today?
Yes, Bert, I happened to catch your show on the radio just now.
Sure.
And I appreciate your expertise and knowledge. I'm not a firearm guy. I'm not a hunter. I'm not a sport shooter. I'm looking to purchase a firearm for my wife to keep at the house and for myself when I'm there. And I'm leaning towards like a 410 or maybe a 2-gauge shotgun. She's 5 foot tall, weighs 100 pounds, soaking wet. 12 gauge. My mom always kept a little 12 gauge, but that knocked my wife over. And I'm just wondering, there's real guidance.
Okay, I think I can help you out, and you're on the right track. I am not a big fan of the 410 as a self-defense gauge. It's certainly better than nothing. It's a lot better than nothing, actually. But what I would suggest is they're often called a youth model. I'm looking at the Mossberg website right now, and Mossberg's got something they call the Youth Super Bantam, and it's a pump shotgun. You get 20 gauge, and it has an adjustable stock with spacers, so you can make it longer or shorter. So for your wife, she could make it short enough to where a 5 foot tall person could use it. Because I mean, and you know the drill. When you're 5 feet tall and you're trying to use a standard length shotgun, there's just no way. It's just the stock's way too long for you.
Yeah, you're definitely, if you're right-handed, your left hand's right next to your right hand up there.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't reach it, you put it.
But you might take a look at Mossberg. They have a good lineup of youth shotguns. A 20 gauge pump, I think, would be a good one. But here's the deal, and I'm going to just add on to this. It is not as simple as everybody says. I would encourage you to get yourself and her a class in defensive use. Defensive use of a shotgun. Because there's more to it, and it's not just rack the slide, just scare people away. And the other thing is, shotguns patterns do not spread out very much in your average size room. So you absolutely have to know how to aim and hit a small target. You got to consider it's almost like shooting a rifle. But I think you're on the right track. A pump shotgun in 20 gauge, and with the shorter barrel of a shorter stock rather of a youth model. Especially if you can get the shorter barrel, 18-inch legal length for your shotgun. I think it's a good way to go. Go take a look at the Mossberg Bantam. I think that'll work for you. And thank you for your call. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. Also, you can call me at Tom Talk Gun. As I say, you can follow me over on Twitter. I am at Gun Talk. I stir it up over there as much as I can. And we got people, we make them mad. That's always fun. If you're voting for Biden and you're a governor, call me. I want to know why.
The Row Gardener, sponsored by Grange Co-op.
We try to control weeds with other plants that will grow in place of the weeds. Using that kind of a strategy, we can then make sure that we are doing pest control so that we're not trying to kill every insect on the face of this earth, only the ones that are harmful to our plants, and it just seems to make sense.
Talk to Stan live Saturdays 10 to noon and a Sunday morning encore at 9 on KMED and KCMD.
Oregon E-Deals has saved the Rogue Valley thousands of dollars over the years on things we buy and use daily, like certificates for Texas Roadhouse, Freddy's Diner, and Diner 62, as much as 40% off. Your pets will appreciate a $50 Red Dog Pet Supply certificate for only $30. We've got huge savings on car washes, including the Ultimate Lava Car Wash at Washington Depot, regularly $13, only $7. This and much more available exclusively at OregonEdeals.com.
It's not all about you when it comes to your well water quality. There's a lot going on below the surface. Your water's affected by everything, from drought and floods to what's been applied to properties that share your aquifer. And the only way to know what's in your water is to have it tested. Grants Pass Water Lab offers fast service, affordable prices, and professional staff who make it easy to understand what's in your water and whether it matters. You'll find them online at gpwaterlab.com.
Oregon E-Deals has saved the Rogue Valley thousands of dollars over the years on things we buy and use daily, like certificates for Texas Roadhouse, Freddy's Diner, and Diner 62 as much as 40% off. Your pets will appreciate $50 Red Dog Pet Supply certificates for only. And we've got huge savings on car washes, including 5 tsunami washes at Yellow Submarine for only $35. That's nearly half price. This and much more available exclusively at OregonEdeals.com.
I'm saving big. Today might be the day I drop out of school. Today could be the last day I try. My parents alone can't stop me. My friends can't even stop me. But you might be able to. With United Way, you could tutor me, be my mentor, or volunteer to just read with me. If someone had helped me earlier, I might not be struggling. And studies prove that kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. There are tons of ways people like you can help kids like me stay in school. And United Way is calling for you to be one of them. Because it takes 12 years to create a graduate. It takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between me becoming one or the other could be you. Make me a success, not a statistic.
Take the pledge to volunteer now at UnitedWay.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Monday with Bill Meyer. Your job this weekend is to get out the vote. We'll talk more about that Monday. Another story I want to dig into is how does Governor Brown plan to have you escape a catastrophic wildfire in your state-mandated electric car with the power out? Once again, is the fly in the ointment of the proposed gangrene future a bug or a feature? We'll talk about that, your calls and opinion on everything else important. And while you're at it, tell me your favorite candidate picks too.
The Bill Meyer Show, early mornings on KMED and KCMD.
Fox News, I'm Ann Carrick. Michigan and Pennsylvania, key states in this election. The president speaking in Michigan.
We have the #1 economy in the world right now by far. And we're not losing it on my watch, I can tell you that.
Senator Amy Klobuchar on Fox News Sunday on Joe Biden's support in the Midwest.
He is ahead in so many states in the Midwest. Why? 1, he's leading with manufacturing in a big way and buying America. 2, he has been willing to take on the fact that we are not two separate countries, that we must unite our nation.
She claims suburban voters in the Midwest support Biden. Another tropical storm, Eta, is on the move.
Likely impacting the Central America areas, Honduras and Nicaragua as a hurricane later this week.
Fox's Rick Reichmuth, he says no concerns here for Election Day. America's listening to Fox News.
This is what's happening.
Virus is raging.
The numbers have gone up. There's no good news in those numbers.
There's no place to hide.
On KMED and KCMD.
Donald Trump has given up. Now, Brody, we're not going to control the pandemic. It's obvious he's not.
We're never going to lock down again.
Get the latest update.
The presidential candidates barnstorming the country today.
These final days.
You have to get out and vote.
Check in 2, 3, 4 times today.
People should not expect a verdict on election night.
This
We are ready.
is KMED and KCMD.
Thanks for tuning in to Gun Talk on AM 1440 KMED. Sponsored by Wellburns Weapons, Highway 62, just south of White City.
All right, we're back. 866 Talk Gun gets you in. We may have a special guest here for it. We're waiting to find out. We'll let you know. Let's see. People who have called in right now. Kevin in Montana on line 5. Hey, Kevin, you're up. What's cooking?
So my understanding of the Pennsylvania decision, based on what Mark Levin said, is that the Supreme Court was not going to expedite the decision prior to the election. What they said is that if necessary, they would revisit those ballots that were submitted beyond the postmark date. Those ballots would be set aside, and if necessary, they would revisit that and make a determination at a later date if necessary. So to just blankly say that Pennsylvania extended the deadline, I don't believe is a correct statement. I think the more correct statement is that the Supreme Court just said we cannot give you a decision right now. We just don't have the time. And Barrett had not been seated on the court yet. And so I think that's Mark Levin said would be the proper thing.
Yeah, and he's pretty sharp at it. So what you're telling me, and I'm shocked, is that the media would portray this as a loss for Trump when it actually may not have been.
Exactly.
Well, I appreciate the correction there, Kevin. Thank you, sir. You take care. Drew's on 3 out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hey, Drew, you're up now. Hi, Drew. Drew, pick up the phone. Okay, too bad. Let's try Mark in Texarkana on 1. Hey, Mark, Gun Talk, you're up.
Yeah, you were talking about home defense with the gentleman there for his wife, and and some other ones. And Taurus used to make, I don't know if they still make them or not, but they made a little gun called a Judge.
Yeah.
Shoot the 410 shotgun shell or a 45 long coat.
Right.
Now, for home defense, for a woman, a pistol would be a lot easier to handle if you had it just filled with 410. What would you think about that as a home defense weapon?
I've shot the Judge a fair amount with slugs, bird shot, buckshot, every other kind of load. I am still not a huge fan of 410 in anything, and even less so in the Judge. Frankly, if I had a Judge, which is an okay revolver, nothing wrong with it, I'd shoot 45 Colt in it. It's a better load, better stopping load, and any other load is not going to make it any easier to hit anything. The shot does not spread out very much. You still have to aim, you still have to hit something. And honestly, I think perhaps it might actually be easier to hit something, well, I know it would be, with a shotgun than it would with a revolver.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the size and the difficulty in handling a shotgun.
Well, and that's where you get, if it's a smaller woman, small stature, you get a youth gun, a small, light 20-gauge pump, shorter barrel, 18-inch barrel, and a like 12.5-inch length of pull on the stock. I think it'd be great, but I appreciate it. But anyway, that's kind of my take on and Smith & Wesson and Taurus both have 410 revolvers. Again, I'm just not a huge fan of those. But you know what? People, you pay your money and you take your chances. Let me run back. We've got Drew back on the line here out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. What happened on your hunting trip here, Drew?
Well, I just wanted to, first I didn't get anything. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and I didn't get anything either, so we could commiserate.
Yeah, I had a blast. I was in the mountains in Washington, not too far from Mount Rainier.